I was born into a loving family. Me and my mom and my dad and my 2 brothers. I was born in the middle, so I'm the only girl sibling. I loved my brothers and we did everything when we were little. Until one day at school, I acted weirder than a kid my age should. My emotions would swing from happy to sad and to anger and then back to happy. I was rude to my best friend, then was kind as if nothing happened. I went home with my brothers, and on the way home I just ignored them. We would always chat with each other on the way home. My younger brother grabbed my hand trying to get my attention and I snapped. I grabbed his arm and took it off mine quickly, then ran home. I remember hearing him cry in the distance, but I didn't care. I just wanted to get away from them. I opened the door and slammed it shut, then ran to my room. My parents were worried, so they kept an eye on me. School and walking home went like that for a while, till one certain Saturday. My older brother was eating and chewing loudly at lunch. Now, I'm used to this, but this day I just couldn't take it anymore. I stood up and slapped him across the face. It probably barely hurt seeing as he was 6 and I was 4, but it hurt emotionally because he burst out in tears. The house was silent and all we could hear was his crying. I screamed, "Stop it with the crying and the chewing!" then ran to my room and shut the door. The next day my parents took me to a doctor. I was happy at that moment, and that's what made my parents scared at first. They took me in and the doctor did some tests and urged them to get me an MRI. So they did, and in a couple of days they got the results. I had a brain tumor in a dangerous area. They said immediate surgery. They put me in one of those beds and rolled me in for surgery. They were putting me to sleep, but in the distance I could hear my mom crying. It all went silent and black. When I came back to reality, I was in a room with an IV, lying down. I looked around, still foggy, and saw a figure. I couldn't make it out till it said something. "Sweetie?" It was my mom. Mom? I said. She held my hand and explained everything. If we hadn't had surgery when we did, I could have died. I was in the hospital for a week or so, then I was home and loving my brothers again. I had to get MRIs every 6 months to make sure it hadn't grown. It was good till I turned 13. I was in my room at my new house that we had just moved to till my mum walked in. I smiled at her, not knowing the news I was about to hear. She told me they found another tumor in the same area, but it was small. She said we have 3 options. Do nothing, which we would never do, have surgery again, or radiation. We couldn't go back in my head again because the tissue had hardened, so it would be hard. We decided to do radiation to shrink it. So I had to go all the way to Memphis, Tennessee. The day I left was the day we started school again, so I missed 6 months of school. At the beginning I was scared out of my mind about the situation. But as I met kids my age and became friends with them, I eased up. I still keep in touch with one of them. I finished my radiation treatment about 2 months ago. I had my birthday there, so I was 14 now. I'm going back December 3rd for a checkup. We don't want to have to do radiation again because the tumor is still there. They just shrunk it to a non-deadly size.